we will thrive.
And Sharon, you mentioned some very important point. The first point is what if you have only one insight, only one lessons you take away, do it. If you want to stay in touch with the speakers, then we call it goodie box. I have no idea if this is the right word in English, but we call it goodie box. So we have something if you are registered for the event, if you signed up, and you know that you signed up if you are receiving emails from us. So if you are registered, then you get the goodie box some day next week. So many of our speakers donated something for this goodie box. This could be a video course, an ebook, or whatever. So if you are not registered right now, then do it now. Sharon also mentioned you can show your credit. You can show your gratitude. And you could do it, for example, by just donating to No Kid Hungry, to Kinderlachen in Germany, for whatever, because this is so important. We can talk, but it's another thing to take action. And Sharon, you were talking about fear, but this fear, and this is so important right now in the times of change, in the times when everything changes and suddenly things are different. We mentioned before, Katja and I, we've been together in Los Angeles, and it was March 9th of March. Then I flew back from LA back to Germany because I had some engagements here. Katja stayed in Los Angeles, and 2 days after I landed in Germany, President Trump announced the travel ban. So I'm not able right now to go back to the US, and Katja is not really able to come here. So we have these changes. And the fascinating thing for me is when I am hired, when I'm booked by a company, by a client, I'm always booked to give speeches and inspiration according to change. And often this starts with the question, do you like change? Peter is a pilot. He used to be a pilot on the airline. I used to be an airline pilot. I used to be a flight instructor. And often they hire me to talk about change and how to deal with change. And I think this question is funny. Because when I start my talks, I often started with a simple question. This question was, do you like change? I just got up the stage, and my first sentence was, do you like change? And now it depends on how modern the company is. If it's a modern company, then everybody shouted out, of course, I love change. Change is important. Change is the basic of development, blah, 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 blah. And I looked at them and I asked, okay, do you really like it? Yes. And I said, really? I don't. I don't like change. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like surprises either. I just don't like it. I'm a pilot. I'm a pilot. I don't like surprises. If you are a pilot, you hate it. I want to sit in the cockpit. I want to sit in the cockpit. I want to pull back my seat. I want to put my feet on the panel. I want to hold my cup of coffee. I want to look outside the window, and I want that nothing happens. I do not like change. If you are a pilot of a plane in a cockpit and change happens, this is BS. You don't want this to happen. But you know what? No one cares. Simply no one cares. If you are sitting in my plane, you are in the back, I'm in the front, and something happens and I said, no, not yet, no, not now. You don't care if I like the change or if I don't like it. You don't care if I have a good day or a bad day. You don't care if it's my fault or not. You just want me to handle the problem. And this is what happens now. Nature doesn't care if we like it or not. The virus doesn't care if we are prepared or if we are not prepared. The virus doesn't care if we do have the resources, if we don't have them. It just happens. No one cares. Who cares? So it doesn't make, if no one cares, it doesn't make sense to blame. It doesn't make sense to blame the government. It doesn't make sense to blame your spouse, the environment, or whatever. We just have to do something. And what we are experiencing now It's a very fascinating thing. I do training, I do corporate training for the last 25 years, but what we have right now, it's a typical seminar situation where everybody right now can experience what happens, because the most of us, we are for the first time in our lives, we are confronted with real fear, with real actual fear. And I'm not talking about this fear. I don't know if I will be on time tonight. This is no fear. I don't know if I can pay for this. This is no fear. Right now, many people have to face for the first time the situation that they are afraid of dying, that they are afraid of getting ill, that they are afraid of, I don't know, they have really actual fear. And Sharon was talking about fear. What happens to fear? Fear is a reaction. Fear is a reaction of your brainstem. In fact, it's a typical reaction. A reaction that makes you react to a sudden occasion, which is unknown. And this part of the brain can only react in 3 ways. Sharon mentioned already that it can motivate you, it can paralyze you. I tell it in a little slightly different way. Fear makes you fight, flight, or play dead. One of these 3, fight, flight, or play dead. Your brainstem checks what is there. This is bigger and slower, run away. If it's smaller, attack and feed yourself. If it's bigger and faster, then running away is not a good idea. But attacking isn't either. So we are playing that. And this is what people are doing right now. We are attacking, and we fight for our rights, and we boom, 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 say something, or we play that. Yeah. In the Corona, I don't know what happened in the US. I know a little bit what Katja is telling me, but here in Germany, when the virus came up, the people ran to the stores and bought toilet paper. I don't know what they used the toilet paper in these amounts, yeah, for, but they are fighting, flighting, or playing that, or they shut down themselves into their houses. They are sitting with the masks inside their cars alone, driving on an empty road. Why do you wear the mask when you're sitting alone in your car driving on an empty road? I don't know, but the psychology can tell you. But the situation is irrational. Our reaction to fear is irrational. It is fast. It is a fast reaction to danger, but it's not appropriate for what we need right now. Right now, we would need our conscious brain. Right now, we would need our IQ. Right now, we would need the competence of our brains. But we fight, fly, or play that. And this doesn't make sense. Let us think about what fear actually means. If you take the word fear, it's 4 letters. It's F, it's an E, it's an A, and it's an R. What do these 4 letters stand for? The F word stands for facts. So if you're thinking about, if you feel fear, if you feel it, if you don't know what to do, if you are afraid, if you have to make a tough decision, if you don't know what is right and what is wrong, think about what these 4 letters mean. The F stands for what are the facts? What are the actual facts? What is really true? Really true is the number, for example, of new infections. This is a real true number. The real true number is that we have today we have, I don't know, 15 or 20,000 viewers on the streams already. This is a fact. I don't know the exact fact, but this is a fact. But these were people which were logged in. I don't know if they were really viewers. This is what I don't know. Right now, there are sayings if there would be a second wave of the COVID-19 virus in Germany. This is not a fact. It could be. So if you are not sure, if you're talking about a fact or if you're talking about something different, ask yourself a simple question. How much would you bet? If you don't bet ever, think it potentially. If you would bet, how much would you bet? Would you bet, let's say, $10,000 that you are right? It has to be a number, it has to be an amount which really hurts. You should be able to at least pay it, but it really should hurt. If 10,000 bucks don't hurt you at a 0 or 2 or 3, it has to be an amount that really, really hurts. And if you said, this is an amount that really hurts me, but I'm so sure here is the money and I'm going to double, then you may be right. But if you hear a little, just a tiny voice inside yourself, which says, I could be maybe stop with $5, then your subconscious tells you this may not be a fact. This may be something different. Then, if you notice this, then you have to go to the next letter. The next letter of the word fear is E, emotions. What are your emotions? Emotions are something wonderful, but they, as Sharon mentioned, they can paralyze you or they can motivate you. What are the emotions? Emotion, take away the E, then you are at motion. What moves you? Is this fear? Is this curiosity? Is this grief? Is this excitement? What is the motivation that moves you? And is this motivation so strong, is this emotion so strong that your conscious brain went to the bar? Because if the brainstem comes, the cerebrum goes away. That goes for a break. So, what are the emotions? What are the emotions that drive you? The A stands for assumptions. So we were talking about what are the facts, what are the emotions that drive you, and the A stands for assumptions. What are the assumptions? Right now, in Germany, it is an assumption that there is a second corona wave possible. This is possible. You can think it will come, or you can think it won't come, but this is an assumption. And you can't be sure. I have no proof that there is going to be a second wave, and I also have no proof that there's not going to be a second wave. But as a pilot, if there are two scenarios possible, and I have no proof, even if one of the scenarios not very, very the chances are not very high, then I prepare for both scenarios. So what are your assumptions? And the beauty about assumptions is, in an unclear situation, you have to make a decision, but you do not know enough to make this decision. You simply do not have enough facts. So you have to make a decision based on assumptions. This is the fact. Each and every tough decision is a decision where you do not have enough information to actually make it. This is the beauty about a tough decision. So you have the facts, you have the emotions, you have the assumptions, and because you have to do this decision in an unclear situation, the R stands for reassess or reevaluate or review or whatever. So if you had to make a decision based on poor information, you have to reassess this decision on a continuous basis. You have to always think, okay, was this decision right? Do I have new facts? Do I have new information which may change my point of view, which may make the decision not too good? Then reassess it and make a new one. And this is the last thing I want to tell you, because if we really want to fight fear with fear, then we have to reassess our decisions, and we have to have the courage to make new decisions. If we figure out, okay, what we decided yesterday, last week, last month, last year, wasn't right from the information I have now, then have the courage to say, okay, I was wrong, and now I'm going to do it right. Just make this have this courage and encourage the people around you. Think about this is what I told you is possible for businesses, but also for your families. Think about the fact, for example, with your children. Do you encourage your kids to make mistakes? Is it possible for your kids to make mistakes? What do you do what do you do? What do you do to encourage yourself? What do you do to encourage your kids? What I think to overcome fear with fear is the 4 letters: facts, emotions, assumptions, and reassessment. And then we have to have the courage to make mistakes.